doing something casual also requires boundaries, right?
Yep.
You should only be in a serious relationship if you make the conscientious decision and talk about it with the other person that you will be entering that. It shouldn't just like happen.
Welcome to Guys We...
Hey, how you doing? Did you vote? I hope so. Welcome to another episode of Guys We...
It's the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome.
I'm almost like nervous because by the time this episode airs, maybe we'll have known who won.
I think,
Yeah,
think
probably.
we will. Yeah.
And I don't know which one it's going to be. Genuinely don't.
Yeah.
Genuinely don't.
Wow.
Hey, if you want to email us about whatever's going on in your life, sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Make that subject line good. Today's subject line, when a relationship turns serious, I turn psycho.
I like that. You know that about yourself.
Dear Corinne and Krystyna, I have listened to Guys We Fucked for over 8 years and can't thank you enough for your work. I recently realized I never truly feel like myself when I'm in a serious relationship, but I can't figure out why. I really appreciate your perspectives. I'm a 30-year-old, mostly straight PhD student living in a small southern city. I have absolutely no interest in producing my own children, adoption only a maybe, and care little about marriage. I have been in 3 serious, long-term, 1.5-year plus relationships. When I was recently in a casual relationship that became a bit more serious, I noticed I started to feel less like my carefree, fun-loving self. Yeah, welcome to being a lady. My anxiety became more prevalent, and I wasn't enjoying my alone time the way I did when I was single. Oh, that sucks. When I think back to my previous relationships, this trend seems to occur after a few months when things begin to get more serious, even in situations where I feel the overall relationship dynamic was relatively healthy. I have good friends, a supportive family, albeit not in the area, and I'm pursuing a career I'm extremely passionate about. Therefore, any relationship should simply be a bonus to my already great life, but it does not seem to work that way. My therapist has said that I seem to only be attracted to unavailable individuals, moving soon, etc.
Oh, boy.
Love a guy who's moving soon.
Oh, God.
Which is accurate based on my dating habits over the last 3 years. This is likely because I don't really like the anxious, not fun person I become when I'm in a serious relationship. That makes sense. Do you have any thoughts on why I may have this sort of mindset shift or how to avoid it? Thanks, Anonymous.
One foot out the door. Very me.
I mean, I think you're undoing a lot of conditioning that's been carved into the grooves of your brain since you were a little girl watching Disney movies. I think that some people I think a lot, even with being straight, I feel like most people just, I guess, assume, I guess I'm straight. And then it's so interesting to me what so many women come out as bisexual, a lot of them as gay, just straight up gay later in life because they're like, oh, you go to middle school, you meet a boy, you go to prom with them, you get married, like that's the trajectory and you don't question it, right?
Yeah.
You are realizing that maybe a relationship isn't for you. The other thing I will say is, I don't know who these guys are that you're dating. You say that they're unavailable, but in terms of their other qualities, I'd be curious what other qualities they have in common. But when you take 2 people, the energy of a room changes, right? Like even if this person's great, like you're going to be on your P's and Q's a little bit in a way. I mean, we all want to be like completely 100% comfortable in a relationship, but like we've said on the show before, like I live with my partner now. I'm not just walking around naked like I would if I lived completely alone because I don't want to fuck with the dynamic like that. So, but that even in of itself is like a way that I'm behaving differently that maybe 5 years down the road that'll get to me, maybe it won't, who knows? But I think that we're just so kind of used to automatically acting different, a little bit different in a relationship that it's just a lot of undoing you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have said many, many times on this podcast that I am my worst self in relationships and I feel suffocated really quickly. It's interesting. I mean, I would say most times I don't super feel like that when it's someone I really love, but that's only been like a couple instances. So, I mean, if maybe you're just not these are not people that you actually want to be in a relationship with.
I mean, 3.
I feel like that's my assessment of it. But I mean, it took me so long to come to the conclusion that that's what was happening. I mean, sometimes I know that I'm dating someone who's just like a for now person, not a forever person, and I'm like doing that on. But I went into that knowing that, you know, the problem there is that I didn't inform the other person.
Yeah, but they're not going to stick around for that, so you got to keep it quiet.
But I mean, that could be what's going on here. I would be interested to see, like, what do you feel like? Do you feel suffocated? I mean, because I think there's also this part of me that, like, like when I immediately feel any, it's not even discomfort, but just like when I'm like, if a relationship disrupts my life in literally any way, I'm like, I can go because I don't need this, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, if you feel that way towards a relationship, yeah, a relationship is not a priority in your life, so you shouldn't pursue it. It took me a really long time, literally until maybe, I don't know, a year ago when I finally decided like, okay, I haven't been taking relationships seriously. And so that's why I'm like getting partners that I don't really like or things aren't going well. And I'm like, now is the time when I'm going to actually like pursue something that I'm going to take seriously. Like there was a part of me that was being a fuckboy, quite honestly. And I had to stop being a fuckboy and decide that I was going to pursue a relationship with the same like fervor that I pursue my work, life, my work pursuits. So, I mean, this is just like a decision you have to make. It seems like you're on purpose choosing people who you know aren't a good fit or with which the time will be fleeting. Like you're basically self-sabotaging. I mean, and I also agree that some people just don't need to be in a relationship or don't want to be. And also, like, maybe that's who you are right now. You're only 30. Maybe that's who you are right now. Girl. And maybe later on, you'll change your mind and you'll be like, yeah, I do want to stop fucking around. But, like, girls can be fuck boys too, and that's fine. Yeah. But just know that about yourself.
Also, too, have you interrogated what you want out of a relationship? That is also something that evolves as time goes on, or at least it's evolved into a thing for me as time went on, because I just wanted someone to love and to love me for the longest time. But now my criteria has not drastically changed, but like I've added a lot of things to my personal criteria. One of them being that like I want somebody who motivates me, not by directly telling me, but by their actions to be a better person. I want to be motivated to be a better person in these areas that I would like to be better in and more on top of. And that's a really specific thing. But I think, think about a relationship as something that could possibly give you energy to be, you're getting a PhD, you're a PhD student, so you're very ambitious, right? So I would think that you would really thrive on a relationship at some point that would make you want to be even more ambitious or make you proud of how ambitious you are. Or like you could both be ambitious together. I think like those are things you can get out of a relationship, but sometimes you don't know that until you see it.
Yeah, I also think like casually dating around is more socially accepted for men and more talked about for men than women. But like you can do that too, right? So you say, I was recently in a casual relationship that became a bit more serious. How did it become a bit more serious? Were you a part of that? Was it accidentally? Were you coerced? So it was like,
were you like, don't fall in love with me?
I think it's fine to date a bunch of guys at the same time and say like, and that's a way to maintain the casualness of the relationships. But then you have to be prepared for if these guys find someone who they really mesh with for them to leave you and fall in love, and like will that cause you pain? I don't know. Do you know? And then also do you have the time to casually date a bunch of people? But I mean, like if you're doing one serious relationship and a couple casuals take up the same amount of time, honestly. Yeah. So I think that's like also something you could think about. Be like, you have to perhaps maybe be more serious about your pursuit of something casual and keeping it casual. Keeping something casual also requires boundaries, right? Yep. So I think a lot of times, men will talk about being coerced into a serious relationship, but women can be coerced into a serious relationship just as easily, or like kind of just like, fall into one. And that seems like maybe that's what's happening. You should only be in a serious relationship if you make the conscientious decision and talk about it with the other person that you will be entering that. It shouldn't just like happen.
Yeah.
A relationship shouldn't happen to you. You should be an active participant in it. So I think maybe take a little bit more control over the boundaries and constraints of the relationships in which you partake in.
Are you in Tulsa, Oklahoma? You are? Well, shit. I'm coming there. I'm going to be headlining January 10th and 11th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then Toronto, I'm going to be headlining Comedy Bar January 17th and 18th. And guys, I don't know who's president at the moment while we're listening. I mean, it's Biden, but like who's going to be president next? But, life's crazy. Life's hard. It's tough. And I had this image that it wasn't. And boy, was I wrong. And you know what? It's really fun to lament about it, whatever you're going through. And my Patreon is a space where you can do just that. For once a week, we hop on a Zoom for 1 hour and we go around and you could share whatever it is that you fucking want to talk about. It could be super dark and intense. It could be a nothing issue. It could be something you need to talk out. Because to see how you feel about it. And a really cool thing that has been happening in this is discussions of like people with very crazy spiritual like gifts or experiences. Like, because y'all know that I love these topics so much, aliens and ghosts and psychedelic related topics, that I've been getting a lot of people coming to these with stories that have kind of blown me away. So it's a really great space that I love, that I've created, and I would love for you to join. Patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. And then my solo podcast, The Voices in Our Heads, is out, and I am diving into the woo-woo. Oh, so hard. So fucking hard. I recently interviewed, it'll already be out now, Alan Steinfeld, who wrote the book Making Contact, with 10 guest authors, most of them being ex-heads of government, and just discussing the alien phenomena. He had an abduction, and then all of you guys... He
himself was abducted?
Mm-hmm, and he got an implant in the back of his leg. And I put an Instagram story before I interviewed him, like, hey, I know people have sent me some stories, but if you're following me and you've had an experience where you saw a UFO, you were abducted, whatever it is, DM it to me. Yo, I have dozens of stories that are just like, woo! Crazy. So I read a couple of them on Alan's episode, and then I'll be reading the rest on other solo episodes.
Seething with jealousy.
No, I honestly... my biggest takeaway was I was shocked at how jealous I was. Like, you know how I get jealous if like a hot chick hits on my boyfriend and
I know you were jealous.
I'll kill you. I'm more jealous of someone who's abducted by aliens.
Understandable. That's your passion.
I didn't see that coming, man.
Yeah, no, I saw it coming.
I really didn't. I hate when other people know me better than me, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm really jealous, but I'm also happy for you.
Okay, so wait, for this implant for a second, like you touched it or
no? Well, he had marks on the back of his leg, and he said that it got like
did he have it removed
dissolved.
Or did the aliens
like dissolved?
Oh,
yeah, like stitches when dogs get stitches and they like get dissolved.
But but what was the implant, like a piece of technology?
Yeah, it was like some type of tracking thing. He was presuming, he doesn't know, like he doesn't
like an alien air tag.
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of theories about, and a lot of abduction, people who have claimed to have been abducted, talk about hybrids. Like people, aliens are basically abducting people, implanting them or taking the eggs or semen out of their bodies. That's why a lot of people, when they say they get abducted and they got like, knives and things poking them, they didn't feel anything, but that they were extracting cells.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, people are like, well, no, some aliens are evil. Guess what? Some people are fucking awful ass evil bullshit people that shouldn't be alive. But like, they are. So
yeah,
aliens can be shit too. But most of them are good, I'll have you know.
And if you're interested in politics, I do a show every Wednesday on YouTube. I live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern time, Without a Country. And yeah, we'll be covering, you know what? No matter who's president, I'm going to accept the results.
Me too, dude.
It's very patriotic of me.
No, me too.
I think that's what being a patriot is, accepting, you're agreeing. We all agreed upon this is how the government that we want to live under.
Yeah.
And this is how we vote. And when the people decide,
when the majority of the people,
that's the president.
Then that's our president, and that whoever it is our president. I totally agree with you. That makes more. That type of attitude is very characteristic of your mature nature. It's very uncharacteristic of mine because I don't have a mature nature yet.
It's not even maturity. It's just truth. It's just it is
it's
so.
Accepting truth.
It's just it is so.
Yeah,
you know.
And I hope whoever wins helps all of us.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh well.
I'm so glad though that you have like the discernment and the wherewithal to remain calm in these discussions.
It's taken many years, and then I think there is a part of just because a couple years older than you just get tired.
I guess I can't wait to get tired.
I'm
not tired.
I'm still doing my makeup, but I've given up in other ways.
Yeah. It looks great. Like I want to punch Tony Hinchcliffe in the fucking balls.
Yeah, it's like,
but like that's dumb. That makes me look bad. It's not solving anything. It makes a dumb situation worse. Like
I used to really love getting in internet fights, and now I just don't anymore. I don't know. Yeah. No, I don't know.
It's like I have like a pizzazz to me that just I need it to die down.
Someone dim Krystyna's light.
Somebody, please. I've dated the biggest pieces of trash, and they managed to not dim it.
But yeah, if you want to listen, we do live stream, and you can call in C-SPAN style. It's a fun show. We talk politics, and we talk about anyone from the right, the left, anywhere in the middle is welcome. And I truly mean that. It's been a really great experience, and so many people are joining the conversation every week. It's just it's just sharpening your critical thinking skills and a pursuit of truth. That's really the quest with Without a Country. We also do now have a Patreon where you get an exclusive news story every week for the Patreons. And there is a dictator. The position is currently taken.
Only one?
But yeah, no,
That's hilarious.
You're a dictator. I know, that's $100 a month, and it's Hannah Pendergrass right now. All hail.
So funny.
But yeah, it's a super fun space, and so you can go to patreon.com/Without a Country if you want to join that. But no matter, even if the person that you didn't vote for, and perhaps even more so, even if the person that you didn't vote for wins the election, don't be someone who's only interested in politics around a presidential election, because the presidential election is like the height of American politics, right? But there's so many steps and things you can do and ways you can be active and engaged before that. And I know people feel overwhelmed. Like, what can I do as an everyday average citizen? Well, you can get involved in local politics, and that's how it starts to get to president. Yeah, yes, us as individuals, we don't have very, very much power over who becomes president outside of our singular vote, which is important. But before that, there's so many steps that will be taken, whether it's you getting involved in local government or campaigning for, mayor, governor, whoever it is. Like, all these steps are important. And I urge you to not just think of politics as something that a small group of people are interested in. You can make it interesting. And that's what we try to do on this show. So that's my little speech.
Yay.
Yeah.
For office. Would you ever run?
Well, that's one of the, we were trying to find positive things about Donald Trump. And that's truly one of the things that he's done for me is I thought, because I am a comedian and the things I've said and the footage of me that's available online, I thought I would be unable to become president. But he's made this a realistic thing for me. So yeah,
I got my vote, bitch.
Yeah, I actually would be very interested in running for politics. Well, it's also between Donald Trump and then also there's a woman, she's Australian, but she's part of the Animal Rights Party in Australia. Her name is Georgie Purcell, and she's a former sex worker. And she gets so much slut shaming online. But yeah, they have an Animal Rights Party in Australia, which I think is really cool. And that's one of the things that I think we should be working towards as younger people in society. Yes, I agree. It shouldn't be a two-party system. But we need to take steps towards making it
to dismantle that.
And there are other parties, there are people running for the Communist Party, party right now, but you'd have to be like super into politics to know who, they are. But, it is happening. So
good.
I think we should, just keep working and not lose hope truly, no matter who wins.
Yeah.
Almost more work to be done, if Donald Trump wins.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And then it'll light a fire under people's ass. I'm like, I wonder, but it'll light if Kamala wins,
but fire... also not to be complacent if Kamala wins.
Right,
don't think, we're in the clear now. It's 4 years, guys. That really flies by. Unless you're in a relationship, then it kind of really goes slowly.
Drags. Like you got a bag of dirt behind you that you can't untie from your left leg.
And it's like your Terrifier Santa Claus hauling a corpse.
Yeah, this election has been interesting because there's not a lot of drama going on in my life, which is great. I mean, I love that. But then part of me is like, I'm bored. So this election's really taking the cake.
I am like so jazzed every week heading into Without a Country because I find presidential elections like truly tittillating. Like this is my Super Bowl. I am amped the fuck up.
Did your high school? My high school did like fake presidential elections where like we did, and we voted for our candidate and stuff.
We did that really too, cool. And then obviously we had real student
elections. Yeah. No,
did
you run for student government?
Yeah, vice president.
Nice. Did you win?
No, because I was gonna do a good job, and I was trying to really talk about policy, and everyone was just like, basically. I was trying to tell, like I was like trying to make real change, and everyone's just like, but we want cupcakes in the like. People were like concentrating, like they wanted more desserts in the cafeteria, and I was trying to concentrate on why do we have to sign a permission slip to bring a person of the same sex to prom, and everyone's like, well, we don't care about that part.
Oh boy,
So this has been who I am now is very much who I have always been.
That's great. Not a lot of people get to say that. And I've not met a lot of people.
I just can't get the message. It's like, Corinne, concentrate on the cupcake. I think the lesson I need to learn is that I need to I need to lure people in with the promise of cupcakes, and then when they're not looking, give the gays rights.
It's so funny you say that. I ran for student council in 4th grade.
Yeah, you did.
baby
you busy boy.
Eric.
You busy boy.
And I remember watching everyone's speeches who were running, and they were all policy driven.
4th graders?
Yes.
The fuck's the policy?
It was like whatever the policy is in 4th grade. Like, oh, we'll make it. We'll try to make recess. All this stuff.
Recess,
And then-
long recess
longer
for all the kids.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That's the
And
promise he's going to
That's so
make.
cute.
That's Trump-style promises. There's no way that you'll get it going, but goddamn, does
You'll
it
get the
sound
people
good.
riled up.
But then
yes.
when I went up there, I won because I was like, I will blow everyone else's treats out of the water
I
for the
thought
birthday.
you were going to say you were going to blow
up.
everyone.
No, I'm not gonna
Eric, were
blow
you
it.
I was
molested?
like,
I think you
Eric.
were.
No, and I won because I promised great treats for
But
my
did
birthday.
you-
Did you deliver on it?
Yeah,
I mean, you had to get your
I
mom
guess
to make
so.
them.
You guess?
I guess so. I don't know. You know
don't
what?
remember that part?
I added
Fraudulent leader up here.
Yeah, I went to one meeting and then I never went again.
Oh, Eric.
Because I was like, oh, this sucks. I didn't want this.
This is
at all.
exactly. I showed up.
See,
Even when I didn't win, I still was active
Wow,
in,
Corinne,
in the
Jesus
student
Christ.
government.
I showed up
This
to
is
one
exactly
meeting.
That's like me.
This is exactly who I am.
That's like me in 7th grade when I didn't make the play, but I still stayed and worked with the director because I was in love. Because I was in love with him, though.
Oh, well, that's
I just wanted to be around him. Every
Okay,
second
well, that
I
was a
could.
third option that we hadn't looked at.
But then it made me love theater.
Right,
So,
right.
Thanks, O'Brien.
Oh my god,
I have
Damn.
always kind of been the same too.
That's sweet. Guys, we fuck podcast. Please, actually, don't change.
Yeah.
that's our thoughts here
Who
on the
needs
show.
it?
Yeah.
Who needs it? All right. Should we bring our guest on?
Let's do it.
All right.
We love this guest.
He's coming back to the show. He's an author. He's a podcast host, and he's a self-proclaimed angry therapist. That's my kind of fucking therapist. Making his second Guys We Fucked appearance with his new book, Break Up on Purpose. Ooh, let's fucking fight, y'all. Outlining all the different types of breakups. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to
John Kim.